Welcome back to Liquenda Have. Today I'm going to make a soothing and moisturizing oat lotion. And this lotion is perfect for people with dry or sensitive skin. I'm going to feature flaxseed oil. It is full of omega fatty acids that keeps the skin nourished and healthy. If you're interested in making your own lotion, you can follow the recipe and the step-by-step way of making your own lotion. So here are the ingredients I'll be using today. I'll be using shea butter. The reason for using the shea butter is for having a rich and lasting moisture. I'll also be using flaxseed oil, like I said before, which is full of omega-3s for skin nourishment. The next ingredient will be vegetable glycerin. It locks in the hydration. And I will also be using oats that I'm going to soak in boiling water so that I would be able to extract its benefits to bring that natural soothing and calmness in the lotion. And the water that I'll be using will not just be any ordinary water. I'll be using distilled water. And then the next ingredient will be emulsifying wax. This is the ingredient that helps the oils to come together with the water so that there's no separation in the lotion. And also important is the use of preservative. And don't be like, what is that? This preservative that I chose simply signifies that it was naturally derived, or it is a naturally accepted antimicrobial system derived to protect handmade cosmetics from spoilage that is caused by bacteria, yeast, and mold. So it being eco-friendly means that it's considered safe for humans and less harmful to the environment. And so it is free from parabens and any synthetic harsh chemicals. And it being broad spectrum means that it ensures that it gives full protection rather than just targeting one type of yeast, mold, or bacteria. So some of the eco-friendly broad spectrum preservatives that you can try, there are a number of them. Some examples are Yogurt ECT, Lucidal liquid, and you can also try gluconolactone and sodium benzoate. It's also a broad spectrum. There are a number of them, so you can also research on it. You'll find a number of these friendly or natural preservatives. So this is why we're going to use the preservative. So the preservative is very necessary. But yes, we do not want harmful preservatives. The kind of preservatives that are going to harm our skin instead of helping our skin. So I agree with you. It is very important to be very particular in the kind of preservative you choose in making your lotion. In making lotions, there are 3 phases it goes through. We have the oil phase, we have the water phase, and the cooling down phase. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through. You're going to see how I go about it. Let's measure out the required amount of the water needed for the recipe. And remember, that is the water that I infused the oat with. So I'm going to measure out the required amount. And I'm adding the glycerin. Transfer all that onto double boiler. But make sure you stick blend it. So in fact, do it until you have done it. So now the cooling down phase, you have to make sure that the temperature is below 100. So you need to wait patiently for cooling down phase to allow the temperature to drop below 100 before you add your vitamin E and your preservative so you don't damage it. And after that, do stick blend it so that it is well incorporated. So that is the recipe on the screen. So if you want to follow along and start making some for your family, you can do it. I always encourage that before you try to commercialize anything, do your own extensive research. Do a lot of learning. Make sure you know the precautions. Make sure you know all that is required. In fact, dot all the I's. Make sure you have done your due diligence so that whatever goes beyond your home. In fact, it has to start. Charity has to start from your home. The goodness must start from your home. So make sure you take time to learn the ins and outs of what you are doing so that you don't harm yourself, you don't harm your family, you don't harm anyone that comes into contact with your product. You want to be very confident about your product. And the best way to achieve that is to do your research, do your learning. In future, I'm going to do a video talking about some of the resources that I use. I don't want the video to be too long. I want to stay on point. Later on, I'll come to show you some of the sites that you can use, some of the resources you can use to get your facts right. So it is me still doing the blending. I realized that I left it for it to totally cool down. It has really transformed from the watery to a solid, very creamy. And I had to stick blend it to make it more fluffy, more creamier before putting it in the piping bag. Now let's pipe it. You can put it in a bottle. I chose the container. Now we are finally here. This is so beautiful. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you in my community. Don't forget to encourage me on. And don't forget to share with other people interested in home handmade skincare products. So now after all this, you have to check to make sure that it is suitable for the skin. So now I'm checking on the pH to make sure that it is within the range, which is from 4.5 to 6 is ideal for human skin, which means it's not too alkaline and too acidic. Yes, we achieved the aim. It's within that range. Yes, it's on 6. So that means it's within the range that is needed. It is safe for the skin.